Did one of the best documented UFO encounters on Earth really happen in a quiet English forest between two nuclear bases? Let's talk about the Rendlesham Forest Incident, often called Britain's Roswell. And unlike a lot of stories, this one comes with memos, tape recordings, and a whole lot of military witnesses. It's late December 1980, just after Christmas. Two U.S. Air Force bases in Suffolk, RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge, are being used by the U.S. during the Cold War. Bentwaters is believed to be housing nuclear weapons in heavily fortified bunkers. In the early hours after Christmas, a security patrol near the east gate of Woodbridge sees strange lights dropping into the nearby forest. They think a plane has crashed. A small team goes to the trees to investigate. They report a glowing red object, metallic with colored lights, moving between the trunks. Farm animals nearby go wild. The men later talk about burn marks on trees and 3 indentations in the frozen ground, like something heavy rested there overnight. Already weird, but it gets stranger. 2 nights later, the deputy base commander himself goes out there. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt takes a small team into the Rendlesham Forest in the middle of the night. Halt brings a Geiger counter, he brings a flashlight, and crucially, he brings a little tape recorder. As they move through the trees, they find one of those ground depressions and measure slightly elevated radiation readings compared to the background. Then, they spot a pulsing red light out past the trees, near a farmhouse. It seems to blink, split, and move through the forest. Later, they watch bright objects in the sky and appear to hover, shoot beams of light down, and then break apart. All of this is captured in real time on what's now known as the Halt tape, a 17-minute audio recording that you can still hear today, and I'll play a little bit at the end of this video, so stick around. This isn't a story recalled decades later. You can literally hear a serving U.S. officer describing what he's seeing as it happens. Afterward, Halt files an official memo to the British Ministry of Defense. It's dated 13 January 1981, entitled simply Unexplained Lights. That memo was released to the public in 1983 under the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, and just like that, Rendlesham stops being a barracks rumor and becomes an official documented UFO case involving U.S. personnel on a twin nuclear base. Since then, multiple airmen have come forward with their own accounts, including claims of getting close enough to see markings on a craft. Charles Halt himself has gone on record, under oath, saying he believes the event was extraterrestrial and that it was covered up by both the United States and the UK. That's a lot of weight for just some lights. So what do the skeptics say? They point to a bright meteor that night which could have drawn the first patrol into the woods, to the powerful Orpheus lighthouse on the coast which flashes through the trees at just the right angle, and to bright stars like Sirius, low on the horizon, twinkling through cold air. They argue that stressed young airmen, tired and amped on Cold War alertness, misread a handful of perfectly normal lights. Maybe some of that is true. Maybe none of it explains radiation readings, ground marks, and a deputy base commander quietly chasing something through the forest with a tape recorder, running. Here's the part that keeps people hooked. This wasn't a random hiker. These were trained United States Air Force personnel, guarding what many believe were nuclear weapons, on one of the most sensitive bases in Europe, in the middle of the Cold War. What we do have is an official memo, an audio recording, which again I'll play in a little bit, multiple corroborating witnesses, and governments on both sides basically shrugging and saying, nothing to see here, no threat to national security. So maybe Rendlesham was a perfect storm of lighthouses, meteors, and imagination, or maybe it was exactly what it looks like. Something unknown, getting a little too close to our most powerful weapons on a winter night in 1980. Either way, it's one of those cases where the more official paper you stack up, the harder it gets to just wave it away as a campfire story in the dark.
150 feet or more from the initial, I should say, suspected impact point. Having a lift on it, we can't get the light on to work. Seems to be some kind of mechanical problem. I'm going to send back and get another light on. Meantime, we're going to take some readings for the Geiger counter and chase around here a little bit, waiting for another light on to come back in. Starting up. The security control. Yes, that's one of the five number. Okay, we're now approaching area within about 25-30 feet. What kind of readings are we getting? Anything? Just minor clicks. Minor clicks. What are the impressions? There's one. Is that a little bigger they are? Well, there's one more well designed. The security control. We're still getting clicks. Clicks. Can we read that on a scale? Yes, sir. We're now on the 5/10 scale, and we're reading about